You are in an epic battle with your rival. You guys are going toe to toe, blow for blow, until you start to realize something. Every time you miss an attack, he or she is getting more damage than you. Every single time. If you are wondering, why every time I miss an attack I take so much damage, but when they do it, it feels like they're taking little to no damage. Ultimately, the extra damage costs you the match, and with slight salt, you congratulate them on a close victory. Well, before you decide to drop your main and go into a new character, it may not be the character, but what options you use during the time of the encounter. What's up, y'all? This is the Shogun. I've been a game competitor for 10 years, and in this episode of the Shojo, I'm going to explain what are also the importance of punishes. The attacks you follow up on when your opponent makes a mistake. The attacks that in most cases are the final blows to finish the round. So before I start, I want to say this real fast. Seeing as this idea carries over to multiple types of fighters, I'll be splitting this video into two parts. Traditional fighters and platform fighters. I recommend staying for the whole video. We are still in the same field of expertise and communities can learn from one another.
Smash Bros.
You son of a bitch.
And who knows, it may be the push you need to try something new. But if you still aren't interested, timestamps will be used to show where the video splits. So follow accordingly. Everything good? Sweet! Now let's step into the Shojo. So what exactly is a punish? A punish is an attack used to counter an opponent's missed or blocked attack. Punishes, or punishing an opponent, is a hybrid of positioning and technical prowess, as where and when you punish the opponent's attack, and what option you choose determines the nature of the punish. There are two types of punishes: anticipated punishes and reactive punishes. Now I know what some are thinking. An anticipated punish sounds like a read. While that may be true to an extent, there is a difference, I promise. Think of it this way. In football, there's an option called the Hail Mary. With this option, the quarterback throws the football high into the air and hopes that one of his receivers catches the ball. This is the equivalent of a read in a fighting game. A hard read at that. Using another football example, there's a play called the zone blitz. In this type of play, the defense will anticipate the direction the ball is going based on the formation and put their resources into that area. This is the equivalent of an anticipated punish. An anticipated punish requires the player to know a pattern from their opponent, whereas a read is just a read.
My bad.
Okay, so this is the part of the episode where the importance of punishes splits between traditional and platform fighters. Once again, I encourage you to watch it all, but if you're in that much of a hurry, seriously, it's like only 3 minutes. follow the time step to the traditional fighter section, as I'll be starting with platform fighters first. So why are punishes so important in platform fighters? Well, due to the nature of achieving victory in platform fighters is taking stocks off your opponent, the way you punish will have a significant impact. In most platform fighters, the opponent doesn't get knocked out just from taking high damage. And with a proper punish, you have a much more significant chance of taking this stock and avoiding the problem of them staying alive with consistent damage. Seeing as platform fighters have reverse movement, your punishes are heavily determined by your position. If you are too close, chances are you will be interrupted before your punish can be implemented. If you are too far away, you can miss the opponent completely or miss the opportunity of the punish. Knowing the proper spacing and which attack you can use to punish will play a valuable role in your success. Platform fighters also have, well, platforms. Big shocker, I know, right? These greatly affect the type of punish you can use also. This is also why reactive punishes are harder to perform in platform fighters, but are just as important as anticipated. And in some cases, even more important.
Oh my god. What is happening?
So what type of punishes should you be using? Well, that depends on the scenario really. But whatever the scenario may be, you want to maximize the effectiveness of the punish.
All the spacing from Mango? What the hell?
Punishes that were viable at certain percents or locations may not be accessible at other percents or locations. Knowing which punishes to use comes with practice, so don't be afraid to go into the practice and test ranges of when and where you can punish with your character. So, before I go into why punishes are important, I must talk for a quick sec about counter hits. In traditional fighters, a counter hit is when the initial hitbox of an attack is executed and interrupts the attack of another player. Different fighters have different effects, but the properties of counter hit in most fighters usually yield more damage, frame advantage, and possibly enhance effects on the attacks. So how do traditional fighters benefit from punishes? Well, through a huge majority of the fight. And as skill increases from the player, the more important the punishes become. Punishes become so important inside of traditional fighters that a single punish can make or break the entire round.
No, he got him! Both of them! X-Factor! It's awesome!
Unlike your platform fighters, punishes are more straightforward due to the limited movement of traditional fighters. They still require great positioning to maximize their effect. Traditional fighters focus more on reactive punishes than anticipated punishes due to their interactions. Since you are locked in facing positions, it is more difficult to outspace your opponent. So when an attack misses, it leaves you more vulnerable. Traditional fighters also have more moves that are unsafe on block. So if your reaction speed is on point, you can react to an opponent's attack to punish and take the round. So what punishes should you be using? Once again, depends on the scenario. In traditional fighters, you rely more on Oki than platform fighters due to the high and low blocking. Oki gives better momentum pressure for mix-ups. So a good punish may be better Oki to go for more damage. It may be just solid damage to close out a match. It could be just a simple ring out. Whatever the case may be sure to maximize its potential. So that's it for this episode of The Shojo. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to stay up to date with future episodes. So until then, peace, love, and show out.